She like covers her hair in with a highlighter.
A black highlighter.
Get a whiteboard marker. Hey dolls!
Hi dolls.
Welcome back to another video.
Yes.
I'm going to be doing it's not intentional part 2 to our last video. It was supposed to be our Too Old for Barbie remake.
Yes, because I don't know how many people remember, but I did make a video a few years ago now on being too old for Barbie, where I was just ranting about how ridiculous that is and everything like that. And I wanted to remake that video because
Now you are too old for Barbie.
Exactly. No. I want to take back everything I said. No. I wanted to make it again because I think I kind of have more to say now, and I just wanted to add to it. I also just wanted to bring Katie in on it because it's always better when we have these videos together and I can have someone agreeing with me completely and backing up everything I say. But we also want to talk about some other stuff as well with this new Barbie movie, Barbie the movie that's coming out. We have a lot more opinions that we didn't get to share in our last video. So yeah, we just have some more. So it's kind of like a part 2. We just want to share more of our opinions on stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, so I guess to our big point is Too Old for Barbie, which back when Shannon first made her Too Old for Barbie video, there was that question floating around of, once you're past the age of 10, even 8, you're too old for Barbie. And the original defense was actually, well, you can be 10, you can be 13, you can be 33, and you can still love Barbie. But now we have entered into a completely different phase where now it's cool to like Barbie again when you're an adult. And it's like actively encouraged almost to go back to liking dolls. And we have seen this with everything. We've seen this with Barbie, we've seen this with Bratz, we've seen this with Disney, we've seen this with Winx. But most recently, the biggest one has been a push towards loving Barbie again. For a while, the last couple of years, it was just Bratz, but now it is entering the Barbie realm.
Yes. And you would think as adult Barbie fans in our mid-20s now, so we're just getting older and older, that we would be happy about this, but we're not. And there's a big reason for that. And it's something that I've noticed throughout the years, and it's really big now with this, like,
Barbie
I guess
is the newest victim to nostalgia.
Yes, exactly. With this nostalgia wave of anything with like the 2000s, right? Because 2000s is a big nostalgia thing now amongst young people because that's when we grew up and all this kind of stuff. And it has annoyed us to see it with Bratz and basically everything else, seeing all these people now all of a sudden rediscovering these things. And, now it's cool to like these things where for ages, older people had to deal with a lot of like even bullying and stuff like that because, you're too old for Barbie. And for years it was
known.
like that.
Yeah, let it be known. Shannon and I, we never sold our dolls. Most girls will have the same story these days. Oh, I sold my Bratz when I was 13 and now I'm buying them back again. And that happened with all their dolls. Whatever it was, they sold it when they were 13 because they were too old. Shannon and I never sold them. We never stopped playing with them. We were playing with Bratz when we were 13. We were still watching the movies. We were still playing the games. And then when Barbie entered our lives, when we were about like 15, 16...
Yeah, that's when we started loving her.
We watched the movies. We were never, and we never had a phase where we grew out of Barbie and got back into it. No, we just got into it.
Exactly, which is what annoys us about seeing these people sort of come back to it. And it's one of the things to for it to be more of like, oh yeah, I kind of miss this thing. I want to more of an innocent way, but they're only doing it because now it's trendy. It's cool to like Bratz again, and it's cool and now they're doing it with Barbie. Especially with this new movie that's coming out, it's going to be like really big in pop culture, and like, all these people who don't really like Barbie and who would have like criticized you for it for all these years, now it's cool. And that's what we hate so much because it's very ingenuine, which is what I hate. You know, we can never be accused of that. We have just always loved what we have loved, and we've never stopped, and we've never been pressured or bullied out of it, and we've never given it up.
You know, and we have an experience with one former friend many years ago, because we've always just liked our kid stuff, where, and I quote, "I'm gonna go hang out with the cool people." Yeah, and that has always stuck with us. She went and hung out with the cool people because they were into phones and makeup and boys. Fine, if that's what you do, but like Shannon and I, we weren't cool because we still liked dolls, we still liked babyish things, kiddish things, and that was in the realm of Barbie, Bratz, Disney, H2O, like we liked all that stuff.
Exactly, and we've never stopped. And we've seen like so many girls our age go through that phase of like even girls younger. And that's what I talked about in my last video, where I would watch YouTube videos of Barbie and you'd have like 8-year-olds commenting on it being, I'm 8 and I still love Barbie. Like, oh, I know I'm so old, but you know, that kind of stuff. And that was really sad to me. But now these girls are coming back into it, but it's not for like, you know, because they genuinely want to. It's because it's, oh, now it's cool, now it's the trend.
No, I just had a thought, that girl that said that she was gonna go hang out with the cool people, bet she goes and watches the Barbie movie this year.
Oh my gosh.
But she's now doing that again, because it's just the kind of personality she grew into, that those kind of people that once shamed you for playing with that stuff will be watching it, will be back into it, will be saying, I was always a Barbie girl.
Exactly.
It's been really bad for collectors like ourselves, because it was already hard enough to get like the original Barbie movie dolls, like Princess and the Pauper, Nutcracker, Magic of Pegasus. Already hard enough to get them, but in recent years, when you join any buy and sell group, someone will post something and they'll be like, I've just gotten back into Barbie and I want to get my childhood dolls, and it's always Princess and the Pauper, Magic of Pegasus, Nutcracker, Rapunzel. And it's so annoying because it's like, you don't really want these dolls.
I know. Are you just going to sell them again in a few years when it's no longer cool and people start making fun of you for liking this again? Yeah, I can kind of see that happening, because it's like I said, this doesn't actually mean anything to them. And like, it's almost like the society we live in, you know, would put us down for years for being too old for this kind of thing. And like, the only way that we can possibly like these things now is if it's under the guise of being nostalgic from your childhood. Like, you can't just...
We've never been nostalgic, by the way.
Exactly. Like,
this
you can't
is still our life. We never changed our life.
Exactly.
We aren't nostalgic for anything because these things never left us. This is our life.
Absolutely. Like, our life just revolves around these things. Like, perhaps it did more so in the past, but it will always do that, you know. So I was like 25 years old making these videos, you know, and like, we don't get paid for it. Like, we don't get anything for it. Like, we still to this day have people like...
It'd be nice if anyone wants to send us free dollars.
Exactly.
But we don't get anything for what we do. We just do this because we want to share. Like, the sole reason why we started our channel is just we have so much love for these things that we share on here, that we wanted to share that love and joy with others and build a community where we all come together and can appreciate and love Barbie together.
Yeah.
Because when we started our Instagram, which is the beginning of it all, there was that very small community of people like us that were in their 20s, that liked Barbie, that never stopped liking Barbie. And we kind of wanted to bring us all together and share that love.
Yeah. I guess that's why you call us Barbie Lovers Unite, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I want to unite us all.
Exactly.
And back then, there was no nostalgia. There was no people getting... Anyone that got into it then, back into it, was genuine.
Yes.
And there were people that either stopped liking it because they got bullied out of it, so they just kind of hid it, but they always loved it. But now it's just people that bullied others for liking it. And, oh, no, actually, it's really cool after all, and I'm going to get into it.
Yeah, because it's a trend. And it's just... For us, it's like we've had a genuine experience with these things, and it just has meant so much to our lives. And there's nothing fake about it. There's nothing trendy about it. I'm just going to go and say, like, we liked this before it was cool. Like, and, you know, and we have, even in our own lives, had people, like, sort of, not as much as some other people. I've had a lot of people message me with their own stories about this, but we've also had people sort of, like, you know, put us down for liking this stuff and like, oh, you like cartoons or you like dolls or like, what are you, a little girl?
Well,
You
I
know.
was just saying to Shannon earlier that years ago we had our local store Big W do like a collab with Barbie, and they sold like all these Barbie shirts, jumpers, pants, things like that. And I remember them sitting on the clearance rack at one point because the only person that bought them was Shannon.
Yeah.
They just didn't really sell that well, unfortunately. But now, if you were to put something like that out there, it would sell out. And I know other people would be like, "Oh, well, isn't that a good thing? Because don't
Yeah,
you
I
want
was
to
gonna say
support
that.
Barbie? And don't you care about that?"
Yeah, well, what matters to us is, like I said before, it's not genuine. It's just, they're just following a trend. It doesn't come from a real love and like a real connection with Barbie and these things like we have. And so when you do have that love, it's kind of, it's almost offensive to us, which is why we're talking about it. And everyone thinks it's great. Oh, everyone's into this. And I don't know, maybe it's because we're like really protective types of people too. We don't want to share these things, but we do want to share it, but we want to share it like with people that genuinely love it too, which is why, like Katie said, we started this whole like our Instagram and our YouTube, and you know, it's what we still really love about it is being a part of that community. And there are so many genuine fans out there, and we still really enjoy that, but it's just been so annoying for us to be seeing this wave of nostalgia coming in because it's not real, and it's, you know, it's just based on that nostalgia, and now it's almost trendy to be nostalgic about things.
That's what I've hated with all of these, because then they come in and ruin them, because then they, at least with Barbie, thankfully they haven't done this, but with other things, they've made them grow up. Which I hate, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, our audience has grown up," and that's really annoyed us when they make that argument, because we have grown up in age, but we still love those things just as they were. They don't need to change. They don't need to grow up. They don't need to, you know. And I'm thankful Barbie hopefully never does that.
Exactly. We've grown up, but we're still silly little girls. But it's funny because like people think this whole idea of like growing up and maturity is not maturity at all. Like with brats, they're just like overly sexualizing them and they're giving them really bad attitudes and everything. That's not growing up. In fact, I think they need to grow up if they're going to be like that. And yeah, thankfully they're not doing that with Barbie. I think they're just taking her out of making her a bit more basic and like, I guess, the stereotypical view of Barbie, which is kind of the vibe we get from the new movie.
That brings us, I guess, to our next point, the new movie, which we're not excited for.
No, I think we're like the only ones.
I know, we're the only people that aren't excited for it. We have just watched the new trailer this past week. We've seen the tens of thousands of millions of images.
The millions!
Of like, this is this Barbie that people have created. Shannon and I hate any trends like that. It doesn't even have to be Barbie, like any trend that everyone suddenly does and makes. Like, it's annoying. I hate it. Get it out of my face.
Exactly.
But we're just not excited for it at all. I know everyone is so excited. Maybe that makes us even not more excited. Because it's, again, like, we were excited when this was announced like 10 years ago, by the way. Like, it was announced that they were going to do a live action one, and it's only now. And I wish if they had made it 10 years ago, that would have been awesome.
I was going to say that, yeah.
But now, because they're trying to please too many people that aren't genuine fans. And I honestly would have preferred it if it was a live action movie targeted towards kids. Yeah. But they're targeting it now towards the nostalgia people, so it's playing to them. But I would have preferred if they either targeted towards kid and having it be a more kiddie film, or go to the complete opposite and target towards the super oldies that collected the Barbies in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
But instead they're trying to please this 20 to 30-year-old nostalgia crowd.
Yeah.
And also, in a few years' time, they'll watch it once and then they won't watch it again. They won't care. In a few years' time, they'll forget about it.
Yeah. It's a big deal now, but just wait and see. People are going to forget about it. They're not actually making it for, like, the real Barbie fans.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure there'll be some aspects that are okay, like...
The fashion looks pretty good.
Yeah, the fashion I enjoy.
I like that they have, like, the old Barbies in there, like 80s and 90s ones.
Yeah.
because that was good fashion.
But
Other than
I'm
that,
not really excited
yeah.
about the storyline in of itself. I'm not really excited about, I guess, the hype that surrounds it, because I want it to be successful, but I want it to be watched by people that care and actually love Barbie and aren't just going to
Yeah.
throw Barbie away in another year when they've moved on to something else.
Exactly.
When they've just forgotten it and they're too old for it again, or like don't have time, or like, oh yeah, that's just like a thing.
I guess that's the way it is with anything these days. So they hardly ever cater these things towards the actual fans. People that really care about this stuff and they've been supporting Barbie and the brand for years, even when it wasn't cool to do so. You know, making these videos, having Instagram accounts, buying the dolls, like watching all the movies. They're not making that movie for us, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're not excited for it whatsoever. We're going to see it, obviously.
Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing it, giving our opinions on it. You can bet we'll be giving our opinions on it, for sure.
Yes, our poisonous review, as I mentioned. Full judgment caps
won't
at
be
the ready.
a popular opinion, I'm sure.
No, because everyone seems to like this, even some Barbie and genuine Barbie fans. And if you like it, that's fine. We're not going to say you can't like it, but we'll
be giving an unbiased view. Everyone looks at it and they're like, it's got to be amazing because it's nostalgic.
Yeah, and I think as fans too, like there's a lot of fans, like when you are a fan of anything, it's like you feel like you have to like everything that's under that label. But you know, just because we're huge fans of Barbie doesn't mean we have to love this movie or have to be okay with it, even because we're not. And that's because we do really love Barbie. And I'm not saying that you don't love Barbie if you do watch this movie, but yeah.
I guess that brings the question of, too old for Barbie?
No, too basic for Barbie is what I mentioned before. I thought that was really good. I'm like, no, you're never too old for Barbie, but you can be too basic. There should be a rule. Like, no, but the truth is you are never too old for Barbie. And I don't want anyone to be thinking that, you know, it's only safe to like it now because now it's like a trend and, you know, no one's going to make fun of you for it. But at the time when I made the original video, this wasn't a thing. It's only been very recent that this has come out. And I've had a lot of messages, we both have like on our account, of girls and guys message us saying, you know, even their own family members kind of give them a hard time about liking Barbie. And it's always people younger than us too. Like you kind of get people in their 20s, but even teenagers and even like little girls, because the age that, like, it's like an arbitrary age. Like, we don't know what age it is that you're actually officially too old for Barbie. But we have like little girls like 8, 9, 10, even younger than, like, even 5-year-old girls. And sometimes I'll be looking up Barbie dolls online and like some mother will be selling a lot of dolls and like my 6-year-old daughter's gotten too old for these. She's grown out of them. And I just think that's really sad.
What do you grow into at that age then?
Exactly.
If you're too old for that and you've outgrown it, what do you grow into?
Yeah, that is so good. I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of my points. So it's like they never tell you that. They never tell you what you should grow into
their iPad. That's pretty much it, right?
It's like they're born with their face on the iPad. Yes, but like once you get to a certain age, like even before technology was really big with kids, they never told you what you were supposed to like. But I mean, I don't even like the idea of that anyway. I don't like the idea of being told what you should like for your age or even for your gender. Like boys can like Barbie too. I will put that out there.
Men can too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and you can still be men.
You can just also, by the way, you don't have to then take it to an extreme either. Like, you can just like Barbie. Doesn't mean you have to dye your hair pink or like dress up in pink clothes. You can just like Barbie.
Yeah,
don't have to
like you can just enjoy watching the movies. I remember talking.
Because don't feel like you're not enough of a fan. If you don't want to have your whole life, you can just like the Barbie movies. That's fine. You can just like the dolls. You don't have to make your whole life revolve around it. That's just what we've chosen to do.
Yes.
You don't feel any pressure to do that.
That's just the way we roll. But yeah, you don't have to be that crazy about it. But you can just watch the movies and enjoy them for what they are. You can love to collect dolls for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be because nostalgia. It doesn't have to be because it's trendy. It doesn't have to be to prove something that you're a true Barbie fan. Everyone has different situations, and everyone, is different. But Barbie really is for everyone. Well, I shouldn't say that. Barbie's not for basics.
Yeah.
No, but anyone can enjoy Barbie, and you can enjoy Barbie at any age, and
any aspect of it too, whether it's just the music or the movies or the dolls or whatever it is. They're open for everyone, and I love that you can watch the movies at any age and feel inspired and feel loved and feel motivated. And same with the music too. You can listen and feel all those things at any age, because there are movies we watched when we were like 16 and they've inspired us to a different way that if we watch them today we're still inspired, but in different ways, and they never stop changing in that regard.
They grow with us through as we grow, because yes, of course we're growing, we're getting older, like we've grown up. I've grown up more since I was like 14, like
out.
Exactly. Yes, we are very, very old, but
getting our spectacles on.
Yes. But we're going to be old ladies still. I mean, more old ladies than we are now, still loving Barbie. And but
I found my first grey hair the other day. Maybe I'm getting too old for Barbie.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I was in the elevator at work and I saw it on top of my head, and I thought maybe it's just like a piece of fluff, and I pulled it out of my scalp, and it was like just this little bit grey hair. Maybe I'm getting too old for Barbie.
You and your grey hair and my eyelids. Like, I found like lines on my face and stuff like that. So yes, this is coming. Yes, this is coming from
30?
true.
You think I'm 30? She like covers her hair in with a highlighter.
A black highlighter.
Got a whiteboard marker.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, so take it from us genuine old ladies, that you're never too old to like Barbie. And like we're talking about before, like I first found Barbie when I was like 14, and like Katie was around the same age. And obviously I've grown up a lot since then. I'm almost 25. So like, but Barbie has been with us through all of those years, through all the things we've gone through. And she will continue to be with us even when we are 30 and 40 and 50 and 74. Because, that's the beauty of it, of something that never changes. And that's why we love Barbie so much, like we talked about in our last video. You can tell it's not just like a trend with us. And that's what I just want to encourage everyone. Like, if you love something, don't be ashamed of it, for one, because there's nothing wrong with it. But also have it be real, have it be genuine, like, and don't ever care what anybody else thinks. Don't just do it because it's trendy, and don't just not do it because it's not trendy. If you like something, like it. Like, I don't see what's so childish about the Barbie movies anyway, just because they're like more geared towards kids and everything. But they're just so wholesome, and they're so like packed with truth and goodness and inspiration that kids do definitely need to hear. But we needed to hear it as teenagers, and we need to hear it as old ladies. Like I think I need Barbie now more than I ever did. And that's got nothing to do with this, trending style of Barbie core. Like, and like we hate that word too, by the way. It's so annoying. Not everything has to be a core. But it's funny because like we actually do have Barbie, like we love Barbie to our core. So we're a legitimate Barbie core. It doesn't mean we always have to wear pink, even though we do. But it's just because we genuinely like pink. But I guess, the biggest point that I just keep making is just be real, and like that's the things that Barbie and Bratz always encourage us to be anyway. And don't care about what anyone else thinks. You're definitely not too old to have a genuine love and like a genuine experience with something. If this brings goodness into your life, if it brings you hope, encouragement, joy, then that's a good thing. And don't let anyone shame you out of that, because there is absolutely no shame in it. And don't let people tell you what you should like either.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like Barbie, that's actually okay. You don't have to like it just because it's the trend this year.
Yeah,
Like, if people are
exactly.
gonna force you to go see the new movie and you don't want to, you don't actually have to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't be a fake fan.
Exactly. That's the only thing we're not going to tell you to be. Don't be fake. If you love these things, you don't have to have an excuse for it. You don't have to have like, oh, it's my childhood, so that's okay. It's already okay. Like, it's just so silly that people have to find these excuses. Like, we have 1,000,001 reasons why we love Barbie, and it's got nothing to do with it was from our childhood.
Yeah. Plenty of
Yes,
things
we
we
have
loved
great
in our
memories,
childhood that
but
we don't
yeah,
follow anymore. You don't have to follow something just because it was your childhood.
exactly. And like, you know, for years, like, we're sort of judged for being like childish, apparently, because we like these things. But now like, everyone is in this point where they're longing for their childhood, and you've got to think there's something wrong with that. Like, it's nice to have like fond memories of your childhood and stuff, but like, if you're constantly longing for the past and longing for those days, this just shows more about the world we live in now and society around us, and like how we're not happy as adults. And why is that? Because we're not allowed to like things. Like, we're not allowed to genuinely have an interest in things. And, you know, there's a reason why a lot of older people like these things, because they are so good and they fill us with joy. And
You know what? That's interesting. How come the nostalgia's never gone back to like the boys' toys? Like Ben 10 never made it back, or like Hot
yeah,
Wheels has never made it. Like it's only been
I feel
the
like,
girls
yeah, because I feel like
stuff.
boys aren't, even more so aren't, I don't think they're even allowed to be nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, because that is never, like, anything that's sort of like main thing that's sort of pushed, it's really on to girls. um Guys certainly can't have interests. Like, that's something I've noticed. And like, they can't even have it under the guise of being nostalgic. Like, they can't love their childhood, they can't, you know and I guess that's another thing I want to say is, like, guys, if you like Barbie, you can like Barbie. Doesn't make you any less of a man, okay? But you don't have to like
Such
Barbie.
a manly man.
Exactly. Like, I actually get excited. Like, there was a guy that served me when I was buying a Barbie shirt that was in stores, because it's kind of cool to have like some merchandise for adults, even though it's a bit basic. But he's like, oh, Barbie, like, oh, I love watching the Barbie movies with my sisters and everything. And I don't know anything about this guy, but like, and we just had a whole conversation. I told him that I have like all the DVDs. Like, you have DVDs, because I guess everyone's like all digital now. I'm like, yeah, I have all of them. And he's like, oh, that's really nice. And just like this little conversation, it actually cheered me up. And I'm like, oh, God bless him. Like, like, and I hope he keeps watching the Barbie movies and enjoying them.
Yeah.
And when it's not a trend anymore, I hope that, we'll still, these people will still stick to those things. And guys, like, again, your interest doesn't have to be Barbie. That's completely fine if you don't like Barbie. But, whatever you like it,
Exactly.
and you can have interests too. And it doesn't have to be like all this huge like manly man thing. Like, I don't know. I really want to especially encourage guys there. You know, like, it's okay. It's okay to like things, and I think it's important. And we've had so many of these conversations with each other where we're like, oh, where would we be if we didn't have things like Barbie and stuff
Because
like
they've truly
that?
saved us, which is why they mean so much, because they've carried us through the years sometimes.
Exactly. Like, where would we be looking to if we didn't have all these like positive influences in our lives? And like, because, for me, like, I know when I'm really sad, like, what helps me is the fact that I surround myself with such positive things, and everything I like is positive and like full of goodness and like so life affirming to me. And if I didn't have those things, where would I turn? And that's why you see so many young people going down these terrible paths and turning to terrible things, and they're ruining their own lives because they're not allowed to actually have a genuine love for anything, because that's childish, or that's only for girls, or whatever it is. But that's, it's important to have these things in our lives, these things that inspire us and encourage us all the time, because we all need that. And just something that brings us joy. And if it brings you joy, then it can't be all that bad. So I just think we really need to stop judging each other for these things and stop thinking that it's childish and only okay if it's nostalgic, because that's just simply not true.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
that's
you're never too old for Barbie.
exactly. I feel like there's so much more we could say on this topic, and I'm like rant about it all the time. So I'm so passionate about it, and like,
And there's new things that crop up all the time
Yeah.
that make us like, okay, you're never too old for. Yeah. There's always new things we're ranting on or like getting upset over and passionate over, because it feels like there's things changing in all of the doll worlds
yeah,
constantly and rapidly, and it's hard to get adjusted to all the changes.
and that's another thing. Is like it's okay if you can't keep up, like with all the modern happenings.
And
like-
it's okay to like be a Barbie fan and like not like all the new stuff.
yeah,
Don't be
Even if
afraid
you-
to be hated for that, because
Yeah.
we're not. We don't like all the new changes. In fact, we probably like none of them.
yeah,
But it's okay to just like some parts. It's okay if you just want to like pre-2010 Barbie, or if you just want to like 90s stuff, or if you just want to like the modern. No, that's not okay actually.
exactly. Like, what's wrong with you? No, but yeah, we are just so passionate about this, and like, because I even get a lot of messages about it, and I got some messages after my last video of people telling me that it was inspiring and encouraging to them, and sharing their stories about how even their own family members kind of consider them to be too old for this, and they have a hard time with it. I just think, so what kind of person are you if you just like are going to like tear someone down for something that they love? Just really think about that. But yeah, it's something that I will always get really fired up talking about and talk about for hours, because I just think it's important for people to know these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope this video really encourages someone, and people have told people have told us that about our videos in general, that it encourages them, that, you know, like in this age range, like it's okay to like Barbie, and that's really what we want to do it for. And so we hope this is inspiring and encouraging, and yeah, just remember, there's no such thing as too old.
You're never alone. Because you have
Exactly.
people like us, and there is a community out there like us.
Yes.
It's getting smaller, but it is there.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thanks for listening to us ramble on.
Yes.
We'll see you in the next video, dolls.
Peace.